Have you ever felt like your emotions are running the show instead of you? One moment you're perfectly fine, and the next, bam, you're hit with a wave of anger, anxiety, or sadness, and you don't even know why. It can feel like you're a passenger in your own life, just along for a very bumpy ride. Well, today, that changes. We're going to dive into one of the most important skills you can ever learn: how to master your negative emotions and stay calm, centered, and strong, even when life throws its toughest challenges at you. Because here's the secret: emotional control isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's not about becoming a robot. It's about understanding them, managing them, and ultimately, transforming them into your greatest source of power. This isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming better. Ready to take back control? Let's begin. So, let's start with the big question: why do we lose control in the first place? Why do our emotions sometimes hijack our brains and make us do or say things we later regret? Well, your emotions are basically ancient messages from your brain. They're a built-in survival system. Think about it: anger tells you that a boundary has been crossed or something feels deeply unfair. Fear screams danger to keep you safe. Sadness signals that you've experienced a loss and you need to slow down, heal, and reflect. These are all incredibly useful signals. The problem is, our modern world is very different from the one our brains evolved in. Your brain doesn't always know the difference between a real, life-threatening danger and a perceived, modern-day threat. So, you might find yourself reacting to a rude comment on social media, or getting cut off in traffic, with the same primal fight or flight panic that your ancestors would have felt facing a saber-toothed tiger. Your heart pounds, your muscles tense up, your mind races. It's an overreaction, but your brain thinks it's helping. The key here isn't to fight these powerful emotions. That's like trying to fight a tidal wave. You'll just get exhausted and swept away. Instead, the goal is to become an emotional detective, to pause and decode the message. To ask yourself, okay, I'm feeling a huge surge of anger right now. What is this emotion really trying to tell me? What's the underlying message here? When you start decoding instead of just reacting, you take the first step towards true control. Now, this leads us to the most powerful first step in this entire process: awareness. You simply cannot change what you do not notice. Think of your emotions like a weather pattern. If you're caught in a storm without realizing it's coming, you'll get soaked. But if you see the dark clouds gathering on the horizon, you can prepare. You can find shelter. So, the next time you feel that familiar wave of overwhelm starting to build, whether it's anxiety, frustration, or sadness, I want you to try something incredibly simple but profoundly effective. Pause just for a second. Take a breath and name the emotion out loud or in your head. Say, I am feeling angry right now. Or, okay, I'm noticing a lot of anxiety. This is hurt that I'm feeling. The act of labeling your emotion does something magical in your brain. Scientific studies using brain scans have shown that simply putting a name to a feeling reduces its intensity. It lowers the activity in the amygdala, which is the brain's emotional alarm center. It's like turning down the volume on that internal siren. Suddenly, you are no longer inside the storm of the emotion. You're observing it from a safe distance. You've created a little bit of space, and in that space, you find your strength. You're not the anger, you are the one noticing the anger. And that shift from being the emotion to being the observer is the very first sign of genuine inner power. Once you are aware of what you're feeling, you can move to the next transformative step: reframing and redirecting. This is where you become the coach of your own mind. Our thoughts are not reality, but they create the reality we experience. The story you tell yourself about a situation matters more than the situation itself. So, when you're aware of that negative emotion, pay attention to the thoughts that come with it. You might catch yourself thinking, I can't handle this. This is too much. That thought is like fuel for the fire of anxiety. Instead of just accepting it as truth, you can consciously reframe it. Try shifting it too. This is definitely challenging, but I can handle it one step at a time. See the difference? The first statement is a dead end. The second is a pathway forward. It acknowledges the difficulty without surrendering to it. Your inner voice can be your harshest critic or your greatest ally. You get to choose. When you catch those automatic negative thoughts, don't try to wrestle them into submission. That just gives them more power. Instead, gently redirect them. When your mind asks, "Why is this always happening to me?" and starts a spiral of victimhood, you can intercept that thought and replace it with a more empowering question. What is this situation teaching me? Or, what can I learn from this experience? This tiny shift in language is monumental. It transforms you from a victim of your circumstances into a student of life. It turns pain into wisdom, setbacks into lessons, and fear into fuel for growth. You start to see challenges not as roadblocks, but as opportunities to become stronger and wiser. Okay, theory is great, but what do you do in the heat of the moment, when you feel that emotional wave about to crash over you? Let's get practical. Here are 3 powerful, real-time techniques you can use to calm your nervous system and regain control. First, the 4-7-8 breathing method. It's simple, discreet, and incredibly effective. You can do it anywhere. Just inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4, hold your breath gently for a count of 7, and then exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for a count of 8. The long exhale is key. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's rest and digest mode. It sends a direct signal to your brain that says, everything is okay. You are safe. Do this 3 or 4 times, and you'll feel a noticeable shift. Second, get it out of your head. You can do this by journaling or even just recording a voice note on your phone. The goal isn't to complain or endlessly vent. The goal is release. Write or speak everything you're feeling, without judgment. Don't worry about grammar or making sense. Just let it flow. You will be absolutely amazed at how different your problems look once they are out of your head and on paper or in a recording. It externalizes the chaos, giving you clarity and perspective. Third, a physical reset. Emotions are not just in your mind, they live in your body. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline flood your system. One of the fastest ways to process them is to move. Get up and go for a brisk walk, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Do some simple stretches. Splash some cold water on your face or drink a glass of ice water. This physical interruption breaks the mental loop and helps your body literally flush out the stress, clearing your mind in the process. So, what's the ultimate payoff for all this work? It's what I call the calm mind advantage. When you master your emotions, you stop being a reactor and you become a responder. A reactor is impulsive, driven by the winds of circumstance. A responder is deliberate, centered, and powerful. Don't mistake calm for weakness. Calm is not the absence of emotion. True calm is power held in reserve. People who stay composed under immense pressure aren't emotionless. They feel the same fear, the same anger, the same frustration as everyone else. The difference is, they've trained themselves to channel that emotional energy wisely, instead of letting it control them. They use the energy of anger to create positive change, the energy of fear to prepare meticulously, and the wisdom of sadness to connect more deeply with others. I want you to remember this powerful truth. You can't always control what happens around you. Life will be unpredictable. People will be difficult. But you can always learn to control what happens inside you. That is the definition of emotional mastery. That is the source of unshakable peace. Which part of today's session resonated with you the most? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what helped. If you found value in this, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on building calm, positivity, and inner strength. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you in the next session.